Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into an article that, honestly, it challenges the very foundation of how we understand Alzheimer's disease. This is a really bold piece. It questions decades of research and suggests a totally different path forward. And, it's one that could change how all of us think about brain health. So, to really get a handle on the stakes here, the article we're looking at kicks things off with this number. $360 billion. That is the estimated cost of Alzheimer's every single year, just in the United States. The author uses this staggering figure to frame the whole problem as one of modern medicine's most expensive and, frankly, most persistent failures. And that really leads us right to the heart of this whole thing, the central question of this entire analysis. I mean, if all that time, all that money, all that effort hasn't given us a cure, is it possible that the fundamental story we've all been told about this disease is just wrong? Okay, so let's get right into the heart of this argument. To do that, we have to start by understanding the one big theory that the author claims has led us down a dead end for decades now. And that theory, the main target here, is a concept that has absolutely dominated Alzheimer's research for years. It's the belief that the disease is caused by one single culprit, something called amyloid plaques. For a long time, this has been the prevailing wisdom. The idea is actually pretty simple. You have these sticky clumps of protein that build up in the brain. They kind of clog up the machinery, they kill off neurons, and that's what leads to cognitive decline. So naturally, almost all drug development has been this huge race to find a way to just get rid of these plaques. But here's the thing. According to this article, this laser focus has been a catastrophic failure. The author argues that, look, decades of these plaque-busting drugs, they just haven't worked. The newest so-called breakthrough therapies, they come with really dangerous side effects. And maybe worst of all, the whole premise might be built on a shaky, even allegedly fraudulent foundation that's basically shoved all other research into other potential causes off to the side. So, if the main bad guy isn't the real bad guy, then where do we look? Well, the article presents a radically different model, one pioneered by a researcher named Dale Bredesen. And his idea? It suggests we're not even looking at a single disease to begin with. And this is where the whole thing gets flipped on its head. In this view, amyloid isn't the problem at all. It's actually a defense mechanism. Think of it like a protective shield the brain puts up when it's under attack from different threats. The disease itself is seen more as this tragic imbalance, right? Where the brain's normal process of clearing out old connections, downsizing, starts to overpower its ability to grow new ones. So this really sums up the core shift in thinking. We're moving away from seeing Alzheimer's as just one disease with one cause, and instead seeing it as a whole spectrum of different conditions, where each one is triggered by a different kind of stressor. Okay, so the article lays out these 6 distinct types. You've got type 1, which is inflammatory, driven by things like chronic infections. Then there's 1.5, glycotoxic, which is all about insulin resistance and high blood sugar. Type 2 is atrophic, meaning you're deficient in key nutrients or hormones. Type 3 is toxic, so exposure to things like heavy metals or mold. And finally, you have type 4 vascular and type 5 traumatic, which are linked to blood flow issues and head injuries. And the crucial point, the whole takeaway here, is that you can't treat them all the same. You just can't use the same approach for a toxic cause as you would for a metabolic one. So that begs a really important question, right? If there are 6 different triggers, is there some kind of common pathway that connects them all? The article argues, yes, there is. And it all comes down to the brain's basic infrastructure. What the source proposes is that the ultimate trigger is often a physical problem. It's like a breakdown in the brain's plumbing system. We're talking about a failure in the very system that delivers nutrients and, maybe even more importantly, clears out all the waste. This system actually has a name. It's called the glymphatic system. And the best way to think about it is like the brain's nightly cleaning crew. Seriously, while you're in a deep sleep, this system kicks in a gear and flushes out all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day, including, you guessed it, those very amyloid proteins we were just talking about. But, and this is a big but, the article claims this system is incredibly fragile. The process itself is this really cool, precise 4-step cycle. First, you have to enter deep sleep. Then, your brain cells literally shrink to make more space. This allows spinal fluid to rush in and just wash away all the toxins. And then the system resets for the next day. But if you don't get that nightly rinse cycle, all that waste just builds up. And yeah, the consequences of disrupting this, they're severe. The article points to a study that found that poor sleep, which directly messes with that glymphatic cleaning cycle, can more than double your risk of dementia. That's huge. And it suggests this plumbing problem isn't just some side issue. It might be absolutely central to the whole thing. Okay, so if the root of the problem is this really complex web of stressors that's causing basically a traffic jam in the brain, is there anything that could possibly fix it? This brings us to the final and, without a doubt, the most controversial part of this entire article, a forgotten therapy that it claims can do just that. Now, to understand this therapy, we first have to get this one concept down. It's called the cell danger response, or CDR. The source explains that when our cells are under stress, they can go into this kind of hibernation mode to protect themselves. It's a survival thing. But in chronic diseases like Alzheimer's, the theory is that they get stuck in this off state. So the goal then is simple. You have to find a way to flip that switch back to on. And the article introduces this potential solution with some really powerful anecdotes from its readers. Take this one, for example. It suggests a pretty dramatic reversal of symptoms. So what is this therapy? It's something called DMSO, or dimethyl sulfoxide. And yes, it's a chemical solvent. The source claims it has these unique properties that can help restore circulation, protect cells from stress, and this is the crucial part, help revive those neurons that are trapped in that cell danger response we just talked about. Now, to back up these pretty big claims, the author points to a whole range of animal studies. In these studies, DMSO was apparently shown to do things like prevent memory loss in rats, treat neuronal damage in mice that were bred to get Alzheimer's, and even preserve cognitive function in mice with severe brain degeneration. It also digs up several small and admittedly older human studies. For example, one reported significant improvements in memory and concentration for a group of 18 Alzheimer's patients. Another one noted greatly improved function in over 100 elderly adults with organic brain disease. And a third found real improvements in mood, mobility, and speech for patients with cerebrovascular disease. So, when you take a step back, the crucial point here is that this article lays out a really detailed and, very provocative counter-narrative. It completely challenges the dominant amyloid hypothesis, it redefines the disease itself, and it points toward this controversial, largely forgotten potential therapy. And all of that leaves us with this one really powerful question to think about.